Hello fellas, welcome to my channel. Today's topic was brought to my attention from the video of another YouTuber which showed up in my feed. The YouTuber, it's a Gundam, about the ghastly behavior of gooners. This YouTuber's content is highly entertaining and I recommend his channel. For a definition of a gooner, Gemini gave me this meaning. An individual who practices gooning, a form of physical self-love that involves edging for a long period of time. But from the content of his video, would it not be simps who have attained master deviant status, the so-called giga-simps? The video's content centered around female models that marketed to gamer culture. The business model, if you could call it that, was centered around the ludicrous proposal of selling their used bathwater in small vials to their followers. One model, called Amaranth. I have heard of her, but never followed up the stories around her until Gundam's video stated that she took it one step further by selling her bottled farts. Gross. My germophobia shifted to overdrive, and I almost threw up a little. Both items were confusing to say the least, till it was revealed that this, let's say, highly personalized merchandise, all sold out after calling for several hundreds of dollars per item. The buyers do know that's dookie-scented aerosol, right? I am not a Christian, but this is Sodom and Gomorrah levels of depravity. So when's the smiting from the heavens supposed to begin? To the giga-simps who bought this, your parents failed you, causing you to fail yourself. I have no doubt that no person is born with this level of warped inclinations. This is something that develops over time and in certain environments. Based on current evidence, it's fatherless, undisciplined, and broken homes. These are usually single-mother households. For evidence, you need only look at the plethora of videos on TikTok and YouTube that deal with this matter. You don't have to look far. There is no way these guys come from an unbroken home with a disciplined father and a dutiful mother, which were the norm just 3 generations ago. Unless the father himself has little to no control in the home, and the mother is self-absorbed and not fulfilling her duties of prioritizing her children above all else. And I mean real care and prioritization, not the superficial ones prevalent nowadays, where mothers say they are doing it for their kids and go spending the child support, which is meant solely for the child's comfort and benefit on herself. I'll be clear, not a penny of that should go to the baby mama personal expenses, like what we see on short videos of them flaunting it. She's an adult and should be able to fend for herself. If there is anything remaining from the child support, no matter how small, it should be put into an account for the child's future prospects. It's small now, but after 18 years of consistent monthly deposits, it should be substantial and be of great use to the child as they begin to navigate the harsh road of adulthood. College, trade school, starting capital for a business venture, buying tools for a career in the trades, beauty parlors, hair salons, just to name a few. It doesn't guarantee success, but it leads to a little less anxiety they would feel. The role of a parent is to prepare their child as much as possible, to be as self-sufficient as they can to handle the rigors of adulthood. But nowadays, destabilized homes only produce volatile, misandrous young women and flaccid, submissive young men. Business idea this file could only come from a place of extreme derision towards men, and an extreme need for acknowledgement from women that you would purchase these items. A highly destructive cycle. I would like to dive a little further into what could have caused this development, or rather this cancerous growth. Firstly, for the young women, the explanation is rather simple. They grow up observing their mother and adopt their behaviors. Normally, children will gravitate towards the parent matching their gender. And yes, there are only 2 genders. More on that in a future video. They observe that parent and internalize their behavior while the other parent acts to supplement what is lacking from that base framework of learnt behavior. As a result, ideally, you should get feminine, demure young ladies with good morals. But now, you could clearly see what the lacking of the supplemental behavior provided from the missing father produces, and you could probably guess what sort of behavior was on display to the young, impressionable child. When viewing her single mother and her behavior with and towards men, sometimes, if there is a strong father figure, an uncle, a cousin, a family friend, the damage could be slightly mitigated. But ideally, the real biological father must be present. A stepfather would normally be a good choice as well, as long as the woman picks wisely. Emphasis on wisely. But nowadays, even if the stepdad is a respectable guy, his parental authority is essentially non-existent, causing them to go down a twisted road. So, the future single mother lineage is propagated. As for the young men, the main model for their behavior is absent, so the base foundation is now haphazardly adopted from the mother, causing behavioral issues. It's like trying to install a new component into your PC, but the specific driver cannot be found. However, you need your PC working immediately, so you have no choice. You use the next closest compatible driver software, even if performance issues would appear afterwards. It's a little oversimplified, but I think it's a good comparison. No stoicism, no values, no goals, and no discipline. This causes a poor grasp of emotional control and increased anxiety due to not having any direction for the future. As a result, a great percentage of incarcerated males hail from these environments. The rest of them suffer greatly by picking their partners poorly due to not having criteria for a partner, or don't even attempt to, and most likely become the type of individuals of interest in this video, Simps. While it looks like I got off topic, I thought I would take a couple of minutes, attempting to explain what I think caused the rising number of these people in society. Anyway, back on topic. During my gagging at the degree of disgust I felt, several questions swarmed my mind. Firstly, how do the buyers know that it's actually bathwater the model used? It could be just soap water. You have no way of knowing, even if you opened it to test it. Secondly, when you open the toot vial and sniff it, I have no idea what they would even do with this disgusting item. But wouldn't that be the end of it, after the gas escapes? Also, how do you know that's actually her gas? She could have a bunch of people, guys included, eating beans and just blasting like crazy. The whole affair is nauseating to think about. Several $100 US down the drain, or up your nose in this case. Like I said, I have no idea what they do with these things. Thirdly, what's next? Vials of used ant flow discharge? Bottles of beer brewed using yeast from their nether regions? The fact that I even need to ask is because I can't put anything past what Simps would buy after hearing about this. You could call the entire venture crazy and insane, but the results speak for themselves. Their stocks sold out. Massive profit was made with no use of expensive resources. In other words, a success. I always thought it was just something people said as a joke. But the simp economy is real. This isn't the first time, nor will it be the last time such a venture is rolled out and is a success. There was another scheme I was reminded of when I heard about this. We all remember the crypto scam with the Hawk Tuah girl, right? Remember reading that one of the buyers took all of his parents' assets to invest in the Hawk coin and lost everything? Now the dummy is in debt. I can't feel sorry for him. He did this to himself. What possible justification could you possibly give for making such a heavy investment into something as dubious as crypto? This is just my own apprehensions for it, though. If people are able to make bank with it, more power to them, but I wouldn't touch that. I'm too worried if someone set off an EMP or hacked the digital wallet and there would be nothing left, right? It's digital after all? I would rather have tangible, legal tender in my hands. Let me know in the comments if I'm missing something with crypto. But anyway, back to the matter at hand. Will anything appeal to these simps, as long as there is a pretty face attached to it? Can someone explain to me why these men are so hard up for even just a minuscule amount of attention from some video harlot? She's on a screen looking into the camera. She's not looking at you specifically. Oh, she looks good, sure. But is that all? I understand that there is a male loneliness epidemic, but no way people with any self-respect could be this thirsty to buy bottled waste. Right? The entirety of the disgusting affair aside, it points out a rather worrying question. How did these supporters even develop such, let's say, extreme tastes in arousal? I'm sorry, I'm trying my best to navigate the censorship laws YouTube put in place, but I'm sure you guys understand my words' meaning. Regardless of our preferences when we were teenagers, such as boob sizes, a feminine, shapely waist, or curvy hips, I think we all started with something from one of these three attributes. It's like picking a starter. Can't see how it would devolve, not evolve, into this level of depravity. If you have a theory, please post it in the comments. But in my own theory, I was reminded of a certain episode of one of my favorite series ever, South Park. Specifically, Season 12, Episode 6, Overlogging. The gist of the episode is that when the internet was unavailable and people clamored for it like a junkie needing their next fix, Randy, one of the most standout characters by far, needed the internet to see the most depraved forms of adult content possible. In order to drain the poison, so to speak, he states that after having access to almost any genre of adult content he could think of, the usual vanilla stuff just didn't do it for him anymore. Even willing to pay an expensive fee for a hilarious internet simulator when they were waiting for their turn in the camp. Complete desensitization to contemporary stimuli for arousal. It was essentially like taking a hit of hard narcotics, where you were always left wanting more. In both quantity and quality to chase the dragon, we all know that there is a biological reward system in our brains, which releases a form of euphoria through neurochemical stimulation when we perform vital actions. Namely, eating and procreative activity, to give examples. There are other actions as well, but we will focus on the two relevant ones for this video. Procreative activity. There's no need to say more, right? Genitals have one of the largest collection of nerves in the body regardless of gender, the dopamine high. I mentioned eating as well, but this is more for a clearer understanding. We all know that diabetes is prevalent due to the high sugar content in most processed foods nowadays. You consume high sugar foods, your body rewards you for eating through a release of dopamine. But what you ate has a high sugar content, so your liver has to secrete insulin to stabilize blood sugar levels. It's too much, too fast for your body to metabolize. It's commonly known that refined sugar is highly addictive, more than hard narcotics even. Why? It interacts with those same dopamine receptors that trigger euphoria. Unfortunately, the more high sugar foods you eat, the more insulin is released. The problem is insulin is a very powerful hormone, but the more it's used, the more your body becomes acclimated to those doses, causing a condition known as insulin resistance. It's like in a circuit. You need to have resistors to ensure the other components in the circuit aren't damaged by the powerful current. But in the case of insulin resistance, it essentially means that it takes more and more insulin to counteract the large amounts of sugar coursing through your blood.
Ow.
Every time you gorge on high sugar foods in larger quantities to maintain the same level of euphoria, until your liver can no longer secrete the necessary amount, and boom, you are now diabetic. A similar mechanism is occurring with regards to the dopamine release during self-gratification. However, instead of a chemical stimuli like sugar, the visual stimuli might be the key factor for this condition. After all, it's been proven that watching your screen too much is just as detrimental as what's on the screen. It's most likely both the visual stimuli of the screen as well as what the screen is portraying are both factors in affecting behavior. There was a small clip I observed on a short on YouTube, where a popular kiddie show was put on a screen and placed in front of a toddler. The toddler was completely zoned out due to the vibrant colors of the characters and the dance the characters were performing. Then, when the screen was removed, the toddler went into a full-on tantrum. If you want further proof, look no further than ourselves. How many of us get slightly peeved when we are called to do something and have to look up from our phones? But back to the Simps now. Is it because it's different? Is it because it's depraved? Is it because it's taboo? The thrill may be the key factor, but this is more of a psychological stimulus, and I don't know too much about it. But it should be similar to the mechanism that causes diabetes, but instead causes depraved behavior. You know those people saying that the more adult content you consume, the more you erode your soul? They may be onto something. But maybe they would get more of a positive response if they said it in more technical ways. Using the word soul makes it sound too superstitious, and people don't relate it to logical ways of thinking. Look no further than the current Simps, who spend a vast amount of time cooped up in their room, scrolling a screen, tickling their pickle, to pass the time. By no means am I saying to give up on screen time or watching adult content. Just a more balanced approach. Like how a balanced diet could help in staving off metabolic disorders. It's maybe going to the gym for an hour a day. Going online for a while to socialize with your buddies and your favorite game or in real life. I realize that I was saying to limit screen time, but if you are with your friends, I think it's okay. In moderation, though, reading something or just going out on the town for a bit on a stroll. It may help keep the negative feelings and anxiety at bay. We all know that old saying that too much of a good thing is bad. It applies here and could most likely benefit you. This channel is not about spreading misogynistic views to further fan the divide between the genders. It's about trying to understand why the current situation is how it is, and to help, if only a little, address men's issues and promote a positive attitude. I will end the video here. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. Until next time, keep rising kings.